Hi guys, this video is going to be about product research, about wholesale product research. Basically, when you get the price list from supplier and you start looking if those products are on Amazon, if they're sellable, if they're profitable, and if you can make money with them. Some people would call it product research, some people would call it price list scanning, but at the end it's just product analyzing. So let's start. By the way, everything you're going to learn in this video is also uploaded as a document in my G Drive, and the link to this document or documents, because I have two versions, will be below this video in the description section. So first of all, we're going to need some tools. We're going to definitely need Keepa, it's a must. For a scanning of a price list, we would use usually something like AMC Analyzer or Scan Unlimited. And then we need something such as something like RefSeller or SellerAmp. I have a discount coupon for most of these products, and they are also going to be in the description of this video. So we need three tools. We need a Keepa, which is a must for any Amazon seller. We need something to scan the price list, which in here I would recommend AMC Analyzer of Analyzer tools. And the last one, we need either RefSeller or something like a SellerAmp. Now, I'd like to start video with the red flags, because there are people who would go through the products, spend minutes analyzing the product, but at the end there's a huge red flag that they don't see or they don't realize it's there, and basically at the end they are wasting time. So one of the red flags is when Amazon doesn't make any sales. And these days it's very easy, because normally you would see the sales below the ratings. Amazon start putting the info about how many units were bought past month, so that would be easiest. Or RefSeller has this information in here under a 30-day sales. Or in Keepa, at Keepa we have this middle chart, this one, and we have this yellow color, which basically is telling us how many units were sold, during that period. All right. So first of all, everything looks good about this product, the BSR and everything, but it has multiple variations, and this variation clearly doesn't sell because there's no sales in the Keepa graph, in the Keepa chart. It was last time this yellow line was shown was at February 27th. So since then it doesn't really sell. And we can double check the variations by going in here, variations at Keepa, and then we're going to search for our variation, which we can do by either like looking for a name or size, but really the easiest is to get the ASIN from the URL here. Go here, ASIN, and it will just paste the ASIN, hit enter, and that's it. So this is it. So from all of the sales that this whole listing and all variation makes, this variation itself holds about 20% of all the ratings, because not many people know about it. Each variation gets its own rating, right? And we can see also the history in here, rating history. You can see it jumped. This jump, I don't know what happened here, but that's kind of weird. But if you go to reviews, right, we want to see that the review is going up and up like a stairs or so. But here, as you can see, it's on 59. Here was a drop for some reason, but over the last 3 months it stays on 59, and we really want to go the reviews going up. So this one is no go. And another thing we can do is literally going here that we can see bought in the past month. So this way we can see what actually sells. This one sells about 400 units a month, which is also the best seller because it has the most of the reviews and ratings of all of these variations. So this is a winner. Another product with no sales is this one. Again, we would see in here that there is a number of sales. We would see it below here under the ratings. or we would see it in here in the middle chart. So we would see it was shown here 50 monthly sold January 3rd, yeah, at the last of January, and recently it started showing up here, which is fine. But also we can see this this green graph, which is the BSR, and during this period, basically, the lower the BSR, the better. So when you see drops like these, that's very normal. That's when a sell happens, right? But when it goes like this, it literally means there was not a single sale during that period. That's why it goes higher and higher. And at the end, it dropped, right? Here's the drop. The final sale happened here, and it's go kind of stable from there. But this product is very unstable, even though it shows 50 monthly sold, but it would be like it's very, very mediocre. Another product is this one. Another thing that I like to look at is next to the BSR, we can see the percentage. And if you can really see the bestseller. The best sellers are up to, I would say, a percent, 1.5. I like to stay around 1% of the best sellers in the category. And even though it's around that number, this product doesn't even show sales here. This is a quick example before I go back that this is how it's supposed to look like, a 300, or here 300 here below the ratings. Now back to the product, back to this product. Doesn't show sales, terrible rating, only 35 ratings, terrible rating here, no sales shown here. If I scroll to the Keepa chart, in the middle chart, we don't see any yellow color indicating how many sales this product makes. And obviously, this BSR thing going up, and there's literally not a single sale here, and suddenly drop here finally. So I would say like this barely sells about, who knows, like 10 units a month, which is not really worth. Another red flag is when there is a one seller, because generally we want to see at minimum 3 sellers. That makes it some sort of safe, because generally if it's a private label, the brand or the seller will try to protect the listing and the sales, basically trying to kick out all the other FBA sellers. So when you see one seller like this, in this case, because below the buy box you would see something like other sellers, like here, other sellers, we can see there's 7 sellers, but we don't see anything here. And to double check, we can see the Keepa chart at the last chart in here, the yellow color saying new seller count, obviously means how many sellers were or are on the listing, and there's constant 1 seller, which is private label, and we don't like that. We don't like that. They will protect, they will try to kick us out, they will protect their brand. Another thing, another red flag would be a multiple product, which we can see in here in RefSeller. By the way, you don't need a RefSeller for this, something like a SellerAmp, because I know most people using SellerAmp would use it. So look at the alerts section. If it's something like a multiple, this is a great example. We don't sell multiple products, because Amazon will store them only between October 16th to April 14th only. Another example of a red flag is Amazon being a seller, which we can see here, sold by Amazon.com. And if you scroll to the Keepa, this yellow or orange color basically means Amazon is there with stock all the time. We can go as far as a year back. Amazon was there every time, and you can see there was a period of time where Amazon wasn't on the listing, but here they came back. So orange color basically means like no go. Another red flag is, again, in a SellerAmp or RefSeller, you'd see something like hazmat. Long story short, we cannot sell hazmat. That's it. Another red flag only for new sellers, new accounts, would be something called suppressed buy box. So as you know, the buy box is this, add to cart or buy now. This section is called the buy box. Then you have something like this, no featured offer available. Basically means that a customer would have to click see all buying options and choose you as their seller. So as you can see, there is a sellers with ratings, and you as a new seller, you would not have any rating, and you would have to always keep your price the lowest, because as you can see, the lower the price, the more on the top you are. So once you have some ratings on your seller account, you can do it. Again, you would have to keep in mind that you want to stay one of the lowest sellers on the listing, but if you're just starting, skip. Another restriction would be literally called something restricted, and it's in the RefSeller in this case. Again, SellerAmp and any other tool has the same feature. So basically when it says restricted, you cannot apply to sell. If it says you can sell with green, that's good to go. If it says APPR approval, Amazon is going to ask you for uploading an invoice from your supplier, and then you can sell it. But most of the time you're going to see this APPR approval, and that's completely fine. Another red flag would be transparency program, transparency code. That's when a brand has brand registry on Amazon and they start putting these sort of restrictions for you. Transparency code is something that you can get from the brand directly, but there is no way that you can get it from them, because that's the way of them protecting their brand and their listings. Another one would be these two screenshots I have here. At the bottom Keepa graph, the chart, we have the new offer count, which is again number of sellers, and sometimes you'll see something like this. At this point, there were 45 sellers. You can see the graphing here, and then all of a sudden there's this drop, this sharp drop to the bottom. And it basically dropped to number 2, meaning from 45 active sellers, immediately dropped to 2 sellers. That's literally mass sort of IP complaint or any other report, either by the brand or Amazon. Something's fishy here. I would not recommend going for this, because you might get into the trouble. If you have a good supplier, Amazon will ask you for an invoice, which is fine. But if brands start making these protection kind of moves or something, sometimes there is no way of appealing or get back to the selling of this product, and you might get stuck with unsellable inventory. Now finally, to the actual product research. So I got this product that I have from my supplier, right? What I'm gonna do when I open a product listing, I would always put the cost in here in the calculator, which I already done. And now the important part. Imagine analyzing product is like sort of a reading. When you read, you go from the top, from left to right. So what I'm gonna do first is I wanna make sure that this product is either a single unit product or a multi-pack. You can do it by going to the images. On the image, I can already see a bottle of 2, right? And then from left to the middle, pack of 2 in the title. So we go from left to right, left image, moving to the right, which is the title, and then I move to the right in here where the buy box is, to see if Amazon or the brand is a seller. The name of this brand is Desert Essence, and it's sold by Beauty Paradise. All good. The thing why I'm really looking at the multi-pack is the cost I've seen in the price list was originally this, because supplier sells it as a single unit, but we just know that we just can see that this is obviously a multi-pack of 2. So we have to buy 2 of these bottles, right, to make this one multi-pack. Meaning this is the price per one. I'm going to basically take this number, I will multiply it by 2, and this is the real cost for me because I have to buy 2 of these. Now, another thing. So we went from the image to the title to the buy box. We know it's a multi-pack. Amazon or brand doesn't sell it. So far, so good. Next part, ref seller. Or if you have SellerAmp, that's fine. Same thing. In the ref seller, I already know this one sells about 50 units a month. I can also see it here. Obviously, I see that so far it's profitable with very nice ROI, but it doesn't mean anything yet because, you know, we looking for to check up on the history of the product to predict the behavior. One of the first things you also want to do when you start using SellerAmp or RefSeller is to go to the settings and to something like other or something like a prep fee. Obviously, there are some fees for prep center shipping. You're going to pay shipping to Amazon or to your supplier. So if you will add additional sort of fee in here, expense, you will get more close to the accurate profit calculation. All right. So look at the pricing of your supplier in terms of like shipping. Look at how much your prep center is charging and charges, and based on that, put that fee in here. All right. So far we know it sells. We start scrolling down a little. On the right side, I see there's 11 sellers. I like seeing sellers. Some people would get scared that there's like 11 sellers, but at the end, I can show you that not all the 11 sellers will be your real competition. So again, we went from left to right in here, 50 bought, nice, to the right side, 11 sellers, good. I'm gonna keep scrolling, and now the Keepa chart. What are we doing here is to, again, predicting the behavior and profitability of the product. First of all, I can see the middle chart, the yellow color, 50 monthly sold. It's very stable. All right, now the purple color and the green one is very important to me. The purple is the actual buy box, and the green is BSR, bestseller rank, seller rank. All right. And we want to see some consistency in terms of seller rank. We can see it went really high in here, but it dropped back in here. And the middle chart is always showing the 50 monthly sold. So I would say it's stable, even though this peak I don't really like. Now, we know the product's sort of stable in sales. What we care about most of the time is obviously profitability. So the current buy box right now is $18.97, right? Now, what we do at Keepa is we're looking the lowest sort of point in this history of the last 3 months, the lowest but stable point of lowest price, lowest selling point of this graph, right? So by looking just like that, I would say in here it was kind of drop this part 18, but it currently sells at $18.97, which is fine. So actually the current price of the buy box is sort of almost the lowest that has ever been on this listing, right? And one more thing, we don't really care about something like this. If the drop was there for just a little bit, we don't really care, because as we are looking at the last 3 months, we don't care if somebody dropped the price for an hour or for a day or for a couple of days. We're trying to look at the consistency. And also, when you look at this lowest kind of price in the purple square, it's not really a square, but you want to see a FBA seller, because sometimes the price will drop, but it could be because FBM seller dropped the price. all right? And when the FBM seller drop the price, we generally don't care, because we as a FBA sellers, we can raise the price above the FBM sellers, and we get the buy box because Amazon likes FBA sellers more. All right. So actually, there's no such a lowest kind of point in this graph that would indicate like something that I would have to recalculate and see if I would still be profitable. So as this one is very stable, I would consider this as a good to go, even though it doesn't make too many sales. But generally, it's fine. One of the last parts would be going at the last graph, where it says new offer count, and we want to see sort of a stable number of sellers going up and down, but generally always above three sellers. Another product, so this one, again, from left to right. First thing, we're going to get the cost, which I already added here, right? And I want to see if this is this one bottle, or if it's like multi-pack of 2, 3, whatever. On image, it's clearly 1. It doesn't like say anything that would indicate this is a multi-pack. Then I'll go to the title. It doesn't say anything about multi-pack. And now moving to the right side, the buy box is 1330. And below, I can see it's not Amazon or a brand selling, because the brand is called Citra Solve. And also keep in mind that since this says ships from, and it says the name of the brand, this is FBM. This is FBM seller, and as I previously said, we can go higher than the FBM sellers, and we can get the buy box. All right. So I've checked the multi-pack and who's the seller currently. Now I'm going to back to the ref seller. Here ref seller is telling me 100 sales, which is all right. Currently it's profitable. Here I can see sell, nothing like restriction, RSTR. Again, you want to see either sell or APPR approval, these two. If it says RSTR restriction, there is no go. There is no way, there is nothing you can do about it, just skip. So we're gonna start scrolling. Again, we can see 100 bought in the past month. We go to the right side, I can see 17 sellers, which is pretty good. I like that again. All right, now the Keepa, stability and profitability. All right. So as you can see, it's kind of stable-ish, but here on the left side, there was for some time, it used to sell for $11.99. Here it jumped to $12.99. The current one is $13.30. So even though it wasn't there for too long, I would still consider this period sort of not really alarming, but I want to see if I'd be still profitable if somebody would drop the selling price to this price again, because there's a chance if somebody used to sell for this price in the past, they may come back and drop back the price to this selling price. And then this is the worst scenario that you have to be prepared for, and you have to know if this price will be there again, will you still be profitable or not? So I'm going to take $11.99 into the selling price, and then I'll see that I will be not even break even. So now there comes the question, should I go for it or not in terms of profitability, right? Because if it would say that you would still be profitable, like this, again, this is the worst scenario. The thing is that it doesn't mean it will happen. And if it will happen, we don't know when. It could be tomorrow, could be in 5 months. But there's something to keep in mind, that this might be risky because this seller or sellers might drop the price to this price, because obviously they used to sell with this price, $11.99. So you would have to be ready. What if that situation will happen? Would you still be profitable? Yes or no, right? So to me personally, it's not a big of a deal, because I want to make sales when I have a new account. You wanna make sales. You wanna start getting all the feedback and stuff. It will help to build your account, authority of your account. The more feedback from customers you get, the better rotation of the buy box you get. Ungating gets easier. Everything gets easier, right? So everything about this product, even the BSR and the yellow chart that shows that there was always a sale between 150 by this time, and obviously at the bottom the new offer count, which are the sellers, we always see above 10. It's pretty stable. So everything seems good about this product, but the buy box history. If you have a bunch of products and tons of money to spend, you might be like, whatever, I'm gonna risk it. It will either work or it will not, right? But if you don't want to risk, and maybe it's even your first order from your supplier, you don't have too many products to order, you might avoid it because they might drop this price to this price again. And we can go further than last 3 months. We can look up, check up a year, right? So as you can see, Amazon used to sell here a lot for $12.59, and yeah, by looking here, it was, yeah, for a very long period of time, for months and months, it used to sell actually below 12. It was always like 19. Yeah, actually $11.99 was pretty good price at August, because it used to sell at $11.59. All right, so that would be even worse. So the product research is really about predicting if it makes sense, if the product still be profitable and sellable after you product become available in the Amazon's warehouse. And yeah, that's why we're looking back to the months or even a year back to see how it formed, if there's anything weird about it. Now I got fresh scanned price list, which you cannot see. I have it on my second monitor, but let me put it here. All right, so I have the ASINs and the cost. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna search for the ASIN because I don't have the URLs, the links. I'm gonna open it. I will copy this cost. I will put it into my calculator, which is already there. And now we can start the research. So remember, the cost, is per one unit, usually when you source them from supplier. So first thing from left, is it the one bottle or is it like multi-pack of 2, 3, whatever? On the first image, there's a one bottle. But I can see here, it's not really 2 bottles. I can see it's like a front and back-ish. It's from the side. But I will still say this is a one bottle, obviously. In the title, it doesn't say anything about this being a multi-pack. And on the right side below the buy box, I can see it sells and shipped from somebody called Royal Mats, right? So far so good. Now I'm going to move to here to the ref seller. Here I can see sell. It doesn't say anything about hazmat, about like IP components, anything red flag-ish that I showed you before. And it doesn't say RSTR here, a restriction, that would be no-go. All right, so everything looks good so far. Also ships from the name of the seller, meaning this is FBM seller. So potentially I could raise the price above them and make more money, right? So before that, we have to investigate and keep analyzing the product. I'm gonna go slightly below. Again, we can see 300 sales, 300 sales. This will always be matching, all right? Now, ratings, yeah, I'll sometimes do check ratings, sometimes not, but the more ratings, the more reviews, obviously the more established the product is. On the right side, I see there's a 5 sellers, which is very good. I'm gonna keep scrolling. Let's go to the Keepa. All right, what do we see here? So for a long period of time, there wasn't the purple color being seen on the listing. It means the buy box was suppressed, like I showed in the part of the red flags, right? It recently popped up at the March 29th, and since then it's being visible on the listing. Also, the middle chart is showing that the sales were always there between 200. Here it dropped to 50 sales monthly sold, and recently back to 300. Also, the number of sellers is kind of all right, always down, up and down. Good. The thing is that when I do the research, I want to see the history of the selling price to see if it would be profitable or not, if there would be some sort of drop of the price. All right. So since the buy box is shown only from this period of time, which is pretty stable, I don't have any lowest kind of point, right? But if I would open something like new third-party FBA, these triangles shows Amazon sellers and their price, right? This is another thing you can do. But since it's not stable enough and it's usually suppressed, and I don't see and there's a chance it becomes suppressed again, I would not risk it. I'm just saying by checking these, you can see the price even if the buy box wasn't shown on the list, it wasn't visible, right? But yeah, this would be your competition, 98. So it was for the last couple of months. Actually, it was very stable. But again, I would probably, yeah, I might try it. I would probably monitor this product for a little bit more and then decide if I'd go for it or not. Now, another product. So this is the product. I'm gonna take the cost. It's already there because I've seen this product before actually. So another product from my current scan, I already see there's no sales. I don't have to even look if it's a multi-pack or not. I will quick go down. I see this period, it was terrible, literally no sale. And over the last months, in the middle chart, there wasn't sales even shown. There is a little bit of yellow that says 50 monthly sold, but it's very unstable. You might get stuck with the product, especially when there's 10 sellers. So to me, this is no go. Another product. Open. I will let it open. Oh, there you go. Multiple product. There's nothing to do about it. We're gonna skip. All right, no sales. BSR is quite high. It's above 1% of the best sellers. So just to verify, I'm gonna go to the middle chart quickly and see if there's a yellow color showing monthly sold. There is none. There's none. Literally no sales. It does sell by looking at the BSR, but who knows? It might sell like stupid 10 units. Okay, another product. So we are on this listing, and on the image, it's obviously there's 2 bottles. So I'm going to quickly to the title, and I can see it's a pack of 2. And since this product costs $8.29, I have to multiply by 2, and this is my real cost because again I have to buy 2 of them. So we already confirmed that this is a multi-pack and we have the right price here. And by quickly looking in here, I can see the seller is not Amazon nor the brand itself, right? It would say obviously sold by either Amazon, or in this case the brand would be Desert Essence. So right now it's very profitable and we can continue. In this area in RefSeller, I can see it says sell, no something about restriction, all alerts like IP compliant hazmats or anything. So everything looks good so far. Also, it says that this product sells about 200 units a month, which is very good. All right, we can start scrolling. Here again, confirmation of 200 both. On the right side, I see 20 sellers, and now I'm going to show you after the Keepa chart how to see, how to check your real competition. So I'm gonna start scrolling here, and I'm trying to find the lowest buy box stable price for some period, at least a week or 10 days in a row, and see if I'd still be profitable, because again the point is to see the worst scenario. Worst scenario would be the lowest price. Would you still be profitable, yes or no? So current price is again $33.50, and the lowest was $35.49, $35.29 for a couple of days in here, 35.99, I would say. It was somewhere, sometimes there. So I would put 32, was it 32? 35.29. 35.29. Actually, the lowest history is still higher than the current selling price. So this one is easy, right? There's no something that you should be scared of. In the last 3 months, there wasn't a significant lower selling price that you should be aware of. And again, we're always looking at the FBA price. In this area, we want to see the name of the seller, and if it says FBA, or if it's blue like this, it says FBM, right? Because if it's FBM and there's a drop, you don't care, because as FBA seller, you can sell higher than the FBM seller and get the buy box. All right, so BSR very stable, the price as well. The middle chart shows monthly sold 100, now 200, pretty good. The last chart always above 3 sellers, it goes higher, higher. Nice, not any sudden drop of sellers that would indicate there was an IP complaint or anything. So it looks good. Right now, I want to calculate how many units I can, in theory, sell, right? So I like to do this. I like to open sellers, click filter, prime, new, right? Now it's going to show me only FBA sellers, because FBA sellers are my real competition. We don't care about FBM sellers, right? So your competition, your competitors are the only sellers that are either matching the current buy box or are very close to the buy box. Because the buy box rotation, it works only for the sellers either matching or being very, very close to the current buy box price, right? So the current price is here, 33.50. This seller sells for 33.50. This one sells for 34, which is already 50 cents a difference. I would still maybe consider them as a competitor, but this one sells for 33.99. So, and that's too high. So, one competitor, second, 3, and that's it. So 3 active competitors who are actively repricing and being in the buy box rotation right now. So that's 3. Another thing that I like to do in a ref seller or a SellerAmp is to, if you go to the order offers, you can also filter out FBA sellers and also their stock, and again the price, again also the buy box rotation. This indicates what's the percentage of the buy box they get over the period of 30, 90, or 1 day, right? So there's nobody who would get significant number of the buy box rotation. That would mean that they get most of the sales, right? So everybody's similar, has a similar price. The stock isn't something like baked or to be scared of. So I would still consider these, yeah, like these, there's one missing. No, this one. These 3 I would consider as competitors. So we know it sells 200, and we would be, since there's 3 competitors, we would be the 4th, right? So we take the number 200 and we will divide it by 4. This is in theory our share of the units for a whole month, for the 30 days. That's how we calculate it. That's for everything is for 30 days here, right? So in theory, I can sell 50. But as a new seller with new account, all right, and with buy box not being very equal, even though it's kind of equal for these sellers, but when there is a not, and I'm ordering this product for the first time and I have a new account, I would consider to order less. If my calculation says I can in theory sell 50, I would go for something like 40. I would go for something like 40. 40 would be my number. And the point of this is showing you that out of 20 sellers on the listing, my real competition is better 3, or maybe this seller, if they start repricing a little bit, it would be maximum 4, right? And these, because it's gray, they're out of stock, right? So out of 20 sellers, my real competition is barely 3, maybe 4 in the worst. So that's why we don't care about seeing these big numbers of sellers being on the listing, because not everybody is FBA and not everybody is being actively repricing to be in the buy box rotation. All right, and the last product. So I opened this product. First of all, is it a single unit or multi-pack? Image doesn't show anything about being multi-pack. In title, it doesn't say anything about multi-pack. So that's good. I can paste the cost here. If it would be multi-pack of like 2 or 3, obviously I would have to multiply this cost. And now going quick to the right side, I see that Amazon or brand or no brand is a seller of this product. So now back to the top, ref seller. It says, to me, it says sell. For you, it will probably say request approval, unless, but it doesn't. If it says again RSTR restriction, skip. All right. Now it says it shows 50 sales, which is all right. So far profitable during with the current buy box. I'm gonna start scrolling. Here again, sales, yes, good. Right side, 9 sellers, good. Now the Keepa. We again looking for the lowest kind of stable point of the selling price of the history, which is the purple line again. And by looking quickly, obviously we see a drop here. It used to sell for 1484 because right now it's selling for about 17, right? So what would happen if the sellers would drop the selling price to this price, 1484? Would I be still profitable? I wouldn't, and that's where that's when you should be asking, okay, should I risk it, or like, you know, is it a big deal? Do I have multiple products, so I don't care if this product won't work out? You know, that's the thing. This is a worst scenario. It doesn't mean it will happen, and if it would happen, we don't know when. Again, could be tomorrow, somebody could drop the price tomorrow, but also somebody can drop this price after 5 months from now. So this is just being you ready and be aware that since somebody used to sell for this price, it means they were probably profitable and they might come back and start selling for this price again. And they will get the buy box because they would be the lowest. And you have to ask yourself, could I match their price? Because another point would be, sure, they may come back, they may drop the price, but you don't have to match their price. Obviously, you won't get any sales because they have the lowest price and they would get most of the buy box, all right? But you might as well just wait for them to sell their stock and hold your price and just wait out them. Wait out them until after they sell their stock and sell for your usual price, right? In this case, I will go a little further than 3 months. It used to sell for, again, 14, 13, 14, 17. I would say that this is pretty good. It doesn't sell too much, only sells 50, but it's still all right. So personally, I would go for it. Worst scenario would be this, but as well, I can also just outweigh them because they used to sell it for, is it a month? From January, like whatever, January 13th to February 1st. Not a big deal, not a big deal. Also, middle charts is showing the sales, 50 months sold always, and the last chart, the blue one, is always showing the sellers being above 3, up and down. Here's quite a weird drop from 8 to 5, but I would not say like it's a big deal. Generally, if it's an IP complaint, it would drop to something like 2 or 1 or 0. So this is something I might look at, but from 8 to 5, that's not a big deal. All right. So yes, it's slow seller. It's kind of alright-ish. And the history is is a little bit riskier, but you know, at the end it's up to you. Again, if you have a new account, if you don't have too many products in your inventory, if you're in your current inventory, or if you don't have a big PO, don't go for it. It would be risky. But if you already have like 50 products in your Amazon inventory, like now every now and then you may risk and basically order product like this. It's either going to work out or not, right? But not a big deal because you have another 50 products in your inventory. But if your order is like 5 products and 2 or even one of them is like this, that's already too much of a big of a risk. Out of 5 products, I would not recommend. Another thing, the last thing would be again checking the competition, filter, prime, new. We have only 2 FBA sellers. The first one is selling for 17.65. This one sells for 19. That's too much. This is my main competitor. This is my main FBA competitor, which is the one that currently is holding the buy box. So in theory, I can sell 25. All right, I'm gonna go to the offers real quick. FBA. And yeah, there's always like two to maximum of 3 sellers. This one is out of stock. This one has a lot of stock, a lot of the buy box rotation. All right. So that would be, yeah, that's why I would not order 25, even though this seller, there's literally one seller who's very active and always, having the buy box. This one, I don't know what they're doing, but even though I would be competing versus one, since I'm seeing their stock and how much of buy box they currently get, even though it does make sense because they have the lowest price, I would not order those 25 units. In this case, in this scenario, I would literally go for something like 15. I'd rather stay safe and sell it really in 30 days maximum, rather than being stuck with inventory for months. That's something you don't want to do. So that comes to the last part where I've been checking also again the buy box rotation and the stock of the sellers, which you can by the way do as well as in Keepa under the offers, where you can see the history of sellers, their stock, their history, so you can predict how. Right here we can see that these are the prime sellers FBA, which we're gonna click here to see only the FBA sellers. This is the data of the last 90 days, which is how I'm looking at the data always, like at least those 90 days, right? Here we can see for how much they usually sell, so we can try to predict how these two sellers will behave, right? And here we can see obviously their stock. We can see how often they've been selling this product. This is the data of 90 days, but we can go to 180. So you can see both of these sellers being on the listing for the last 6 months. I can try a year. None of them is being there for a year, but that was 6 months straight, and we can see their stock all the time. So me saying that this seller has 5 units in stock, which we can see here, that probably there's a chance, since they've been on the listing for 6 months straight, there's a chance they might have more products on the way. So don't calculate it like, hey, this seller won't be there on the listing anymore when my product becomes live. There's a big chance that this seller is still going to be on the listing because they've been there for 6 months. So yeah, that's about it. Just a reminder, I do have these guides in written document below this video in description, so you can just go and save it. I have the short version, which is basically telling you, do this, check this, do that, you good, yes, no. And the second part is very more in depth with a whole explanation and everything. I would recommend to keep it somewhere on the side, and during the analyzing the products, always use these documents. I hope it helps, and I'll see you in the next one.